Speedway Tavern. What's the news today? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Webby, GA, and Matt are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
You know, you have to wonder, don't you, just what it will take to get Speedway back into the headlines. I mean, Ty Woffington is a 3-time world champion, more than any other Brit. We have been world team champions last year and runner-up this year, and Dan Bewley has just come from nowhere to win 2 GPs on the trot. This is the sort of publicity we've been hoping for so long. So why are the national newspapers not screaming this success on their back pages? Well, what happened at Peterborough last night might give us a clue. Abandoned after 10 heats, and why? The answer, it just beggars belief. It was abandoned due to running out of tyres. You couldn't make this up. So how can Speedway be credible with this sort of thing happening? So to the BSPL, I plead, give us our credibility back. Only in Speedway. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, what did you think to that?
Oh, it was I heard the news at Mumba last night, and it was sort of one of those things where you just sort of double take and think, hey, what?
But there's got to be there is a connection, isn't there, to that sort of...
Can we say, first and foremost, that's more important than anything else, thoughts and prayers with Adrian Mizinski and his family.
Yes,
Obviously, a horrible crash in Zelina Gora over the weekend, of course, currently in a coma. The reports that I've read is that there's going to be an attempt to try and bring him out of the coma sometime this week. His condition's stable, but of course, obviously, all our thoughts and prayers with him. And again, just highlights what a dangerous sport this is.
Absolutely. And sort of brings things into sharp relief as well. Yeah. But
let's focus really on the report from last night. It was after 10 heats, so of course Sheffield were declared winners and the result stands. But Sheffield were 32-28 winners at Peterborough in a meeting abandoned after 10 races due to tyre issues at the East of England Arena. The decision was taken to call a halt after several problems during the meeting, culminating in a major failure for Benjamin Basso in heat number 10. Basso still top scored for the Panthers with 10-1, while Tobias Misulek scored 8 for the Tigers, who consolidated their place in the Premiership's top 4. A Peterborough statement said, "Rider safety is paramount and the club do not wish to see riders put at risk, and therefore the decision had to be taken on safety grounds to call a halt to racing. We never like to abandon meetings, especially when the reason is for something other than weather or track conditions, but on this occasion it was the only decision which could be taken." Well, obviously safety has to come first. There's no two ways about that. They do seem to have been issues in recent years with tyres, though, don't they?
It's these new tyres that they've just brought out. There have been, well, I don't know enough about it to be able to comment too much, but whatever, if you're a newspaper editor or whatever and you look at that, it's laughable. Yeah, whatever the ins and outs of it are, it is a laughable situation. Yeah.
Okay,
I believe that's my phone. Don't worry about it.
I was worried there because it sounds like mine, but mine's off. So
I'll sort that.
Tell us you can wait.
Could you give me a little bit more in my phones, please?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, but it's not just that. There have been other issues, other similar things that go. It keeps me in a monologue every week.
Yeah.
But it's It's all right, I can hear the lorry from the outside. You're right.
You're
just
right.
pick
I
it
told
up,
you.
yeah.
Didn't I? I did tell you. You didn't believe me.
We need to close that door. So credibility is a big problem. I mean, 6 teams in the top league is a credibility issue just by itself, isn't
Just
it?
a bit, yeah, just a tad.
So, and you think you look back on the 70s and 80s, and there was 20 teams in the bottom league, 20 teams in the top
Second tier,
league.
yeah. You only had one chance to, you had all the top riders over here, and you've literally only had one chance to see them during the season at your track. So it's not like where they could be here again in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, particularly the name's Chris Harris.
Yeah,
he's ridden for everyone.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not knocking Chris at all.
No, he's taking advantage of the rule, isn't he? So, but
yeah. So that's that. Anyway, we've got lots to talk about today, I think.
Absolutely.
But also we want to know what you guys have got to talk about. So Chris will let you know how you can take part.
Okay, so on Facebook, just search for UK Speedway Tavern. You'll find us on all the good Facebook pages and groups. Also, we're on YouTube live at the same time every Tuesday. If you miss these shows, you can always catch up from Wednesday lunchtime. We'll be on Apple, Spotify, Acast, Google, Alive, loads, all your favourite podcast platforms. Thank you.
Okay. We've got a few comments coming up on the shout box. So if you want your questions answered, or you've got any comments to do with anything to do with Speedway, shove it up on shove it up on the shout box, and we will do our best to get through them all. So apparently they had enough tyres, but they were substandard.
so they run out of safe tyres, basically.
That's
how I would read it. So
yeah, I mean, Rich Thomas says, don't think it's because they ran out, it's more about safety. Well, they ran out of usable tyres, I think is probably the...
Yeah.
Why were they substandard? Does anybody inspect these before? I don't know how it works, so let us know. Hi guys, sound on Facebook is top notch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think I got it right this week.
You never know. Let's not count out chickens. Speedway in Britain sadly is a laughing stock now, says Rich Thomas, and there's a lot to be said for that, I think. And all those teams had junior teams, and I'm sure that's true. We used to have second halves with junior riders in which is sort of what Birmingham are sort of bringing back at the moment in a way. Duncan Pemberton, anyone seen the video of Greg Hancock giving Bewley an award for best pass at Cardiff and his reply?
yes, I did see the pass. I did see his comment. Yeah.
Would you like to share it?
I didn't pass anybody. That's the comment. So.
Okay, brilliant. Well,
Yeah.
at least he's honest. Fantastic night of Speedway at Wars last night. Stadium was full of supporters from both clubs. Was nice to see, and we need to see more of that.
Yeah, it was a really good meeting last night at.
Well, you would say
Monmouth.
that.
Yeah. Well, it was a very good meeting, very good atmosphere as well. I mean, as I say, plenty of Bellevue fans, as is normal, made the trip down from Manchester. I didn't go to the meeting in the morning, but there were plenty of Wolves fans making the journey up to the NSS as well. So, two really good meetings, and on the basis of what we saw last night, that's certainly that should give Wolves a lot of encouragement for the playoffs, of course, if they could, because obviously overall it would have been an aggregate victory over the Aces, and given Bellevue's form in recent weeks, that's. They were obviously mitigating circumstances. Of course, Bellevue losing Tom Brennan and Charles Rice, both of them involved in nasty crashes.
I hope they.
At this stage, I don't know whether Tom Brennan is going to race tomorrow. I don't know whether he's declared himself running tomorrow, but whether he'll make a late decision, because of course he's probably the favourite for the meeting at Perry Bar tomorrow, which meeting they will go on to. A little bit shortly, but it was a good, solid effort from Wolves. I mean, it surprised me getting as close as we did in the morning. To be fair, 2 heats to go, we were 10 points behind, and looked pretty much done and dusted that we weren't going to get anything. And then two good results in the last 2 races to get it back within 4.
I mean, if you look at it from a point of view of playoffs, you won.
Yeah.
but you've got to
But you've got to do it when it
Charles
matters.
Wright and Tim, and you got to do
Yeah.
it when you like. So it's makes it for interesting. Going forward, I guess. I don't agree with Simon Corbett's comment. He says, without Woffington, Bewley, Lambert not riding in the UK, how can it be credible? Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are plenty of footballers that go to other countries and then still play for their team. There's nothing. So I think it's possibly not creditable or credible that they can ride in more than one team.
Yeah.
But I think the mechanics of
I do. I mean, I think Bewley
money
wants.
maker.
I think Bewley does want to race in this country. Obviously, of course, the suggestion is that the Polish clubs are going to relax the regulations next year. So
we hope.
that I'm not overly. I'm certainly not convinced that Ty Woffington will come back, and I'm not convinced Robert Lambert will come back to the UK either. Really,
Yeah, I mean that's another thing that takes credibility away. That Poland is so powerful within the sport. You could look at UEFA being all powerful in the sport, but it's not, because FIFA's all. It doesn't seem to happen in any other sport that a country just essentially runs the sport.
Absolutely,
So evening watching via YouTube all seems okay tonight. Just watch Swedish Speedway meeting with top riders really puts UK Speedway in the shade. I haven't seen any Swedish Speedway. I don't think they have a very long season. They do.
No, it's only shorter. So it's a lot shorter than the season in the UK.
So I guess maybe they can afford to have them for that.
By the way, we have got a quite important match taking place down on the south coast
Yes, we
tonight.
have.
Plymouth against Redcar. I believe Redcar need a point to
I think that's
secure
true.
their place in the top six, and at the moment they are well on course. After 11 heats, it's Plymouth 29, Redcar 37. Good solid performance from Redcar. Of course, they haven't got Charles Wright. He's obviously, because of his crash last night at Monmouth. Richard Lawson's guesting for them, and he's picked up 3 wins.
No,
Three matches so far.
you
so.
can't do better than that, can you? It's the interval at Plymouth. Oh, it's disappeared. Can I have? That's not a problem. Have we discussed having 2 British riders on the podium of a GP for the first time in 20 years?
We are going to come on to that, aren't we? So.
Absolutely will. Yeah, I mean,
Last time was at Coventry in 2000, and that was Martin Dugard, of course, who won it, and Mark Ram was third
at Coventry.
at Coventry. Yeah, so it's also the last time that 3 British riders got to a semi-final in a Grand Prix, and that was in the same year. That was 2000 at Prague, and that was Mark Ram, Chris Louis, and Carl Stonewer.
I'm now taking a vote on we change Matt's name. It's now
Stato.
Stato. Yeah, that's it.
Are we going to carry on calling him that name that you says don't mention? Or maybe not. Okay.
Yeah. Robert Greenwood, I can actually say I have never seen a meeting abandoned to a tyre shortage issue, as the Peterborough Sheffield meeting was for rider safety. Rider safety is paramount. Feel for the travelling fans. I travel from Bradford to Sheffield. So glad I was working Monday, otherwise I would have been there myself. Yeah. There needs to be some sort of inquiry, doesn't there, into what happened there, why.
Yeah, that has to be.
That is crazy. I did say before. I mean, before it went on air, that it's like a football game turning up with no balls.
Oh, that's it.
It was his
We
turn.
can't
Yeah.
carry on because we've got no balls. We've no balls.
I think we probably better not go any further
Yeah, I
down
think
that
so,
road.
yeah. Pardon me for talking about my balls.
Yeah. 2 good meetings between Aces Wolves yesterday, says Jeff Daniels. Personally, I think the Aces will not be racking up 60 points plus for the rest of the season, because as the winter nights roll in, tracks will get slicker. Even at NSS, it was slick due to overcast weather on Monday, and gating was imperative. Wolves deserved their point, and at Monmouth, Aces were unlucky with injuries, but that Speedway playoffs will be a leveller. It makes the playoffs a little bit more exciting. It gives you hope that you can, because you was last week saying, well, yeah, really Bellevue's got it.
Well, at the moment, I mean, Bellevue, I think they are the favourites to win it. Although, of course, they're not top of the league at the moment. Of course, Ipswich still are.
Well, this is true, yeah. Duncan Pemberton, shout out for young Master Flint. I know he gets a lot of stick from Wolves fans at times, but he was excellent at Monmore Green last night.
He really started to dial into the place.
What was he like at the NSS?
Solid. I think he got 4 points down there, so he got better as the night went on. But the big problem with Leon has always been whether he could master the racing on the, because I mean riding at Monmore is totally different to belting around Bellevue and Berwick every week. But he's really sort of the last couple of weeks he's really got it together. A brilliant ride really to hold off Matty Zagar for 3.5 laps, and then in fairness to Zagar, a classy move from him to blast round both him and Becker on the last bend. Really was a good piece of racing from Matty Zagar, although he didn't score a point after that.
I think he felt he'd done his work. Ben Clifton says you even look like Stato.
Shall I turn up in a dressing ground next week then?
No.
Was it Angus Loughran?
Yeah, it wasn't it?
Was it?
It was Angus Loughran, on Fantasy Football League with Skinner and Bedale.
Yes, it was. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't
So when I was at Hospital Radio at Walsall, we had a guy called Richard Cross who was good at stats, particularly with Walsall. And one time he actually turned up at the studio in a dressing ground to pretend to be Stato.
Oh, wow.
So obviously could get away with it because it was on the radio. But
So Bradley Gray, I love that name, Bradley Gray. Unlike my name, which is Badley Gray.
Yeah.
I went and missed my scores. Silly Billy.
Yeah.
Another good name. 2 British riders on the podium, not a mention on British TV. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Isn't that incredible?
It's simple. The tyres have to be sent back to the tyre manufacturer, and the issue will be investigated. I think it should be investigated by the FIM, if I'm honest. Massive congratulations to Dan Bewley on his Grand Prix 2 in a row victories. This lad is a class act and a world champion in waiting. Even as a Tigers fan, love watching him race.
Oh, is that the first time a British rider's won 2 GPs on the back to back?
I think
I'm not convinced Ty's done it.
Has he?
He may have done it, but I can't. He doesn't jump out.
But what he's done is he's taken the step that Chris Harris couldn't.
Yeah, and he's backed it up on a foreign track as well. He's not done it on a British track.
He's backed it up straight away as well.
Admittedly, of course, he knows Rosslov anyway because he races for them every week in the Polish League. So, but let's have a look at the standings in the GP actually there. So Bart Smarslick still in front, but although his lead has been sort of cut by not reaching the final. 108 for Smarslick, 92 for Leon Madsen. Dan Bewley now up to third on 84. Patrick Dudek 76. Magic Yanofsky 74. Freddie Lindgren 70. Robert Lambert 68 and Ty Woofenden 64. So Ty now the lowest of the 3 Brits.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I've got to say as well, I was really pleased with Robert Lambert because he rode really well on Saturday. Thoroughly deserved his podium finish, and that'll give him a boost as well because
that's his highest ever finish.
Well, yeah, and of course, not getting through the qualifiers it's imperative now that he gets into the top 6, and he's obviously 2 points behind Freddie Lindgren. So.
Somebody called Brian Buck would like to say, on the subject of tyres, perhaps someone who knows more than I do about Speedway bikes can confirm that most road bikes use an 18-inch rear wheel. Speedway bikes have used a 19-inch rear wheel since 1956. Before then it was a 22-inch wheel. So if this is the case, would it not make sense for Speedway to change the rear wheel size to 18-inch in order to make a much wider selection of tyres become available? No. It's not just that.
It's not the size that matters.
It's not just the size. It's the width. And Speedway tyres are very narrow tyres. Yeah. Michael, doesn't matter who sends them back to the manufacturer. I'm saying that's what's needed to happen. FAM and the tyre manufacturer, preferably. I think that it needs to be with the FAM in attendance.
Who is the tyre manufacturer now that they use?
Is it Aaron? Is it Aaron?
Sure, somebody will put it on the comments.
Yeah, please do.
Is it only one tyre manufacturer? Or is it
I believe it is in this country.
I think it is, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, they must be making a bomb, but it's not really.
Well,
yeah,
it's got to be worthwhile they're doing it, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they make something else, rubber as well.
Have you got any suggestion? That
You had to go there, didn't you?
This show's going really so far down. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Shall we talk about the playoffs? First of all, let's have a chat about the Premiership. It's pretty much Anlas is it's a Turkish company.
Yeah, unless.
So
I can remember, as Rich Thomas says there, I remember when it was Barham. I think it was Barham when I first started watching Speed. I was in the early 90s, but late 80s, early 90s, so, yep.
yeah, so I think it's pretty much sealed the top four now,
Yep,
is it?
Ipswich 37, Wolves 34, Bellevue 32, Sheffield 30, Kings Lynn 18, Peterborough 10. So I think the top four is pretty much... So as things stand at the moment, it would be Ipswich and Sheffield and Wolves against Bellevue.
That'd be interesting
again.
then, wouldn't it?
So
Is there much chance of that changing? Position-wise?
Well, Wolves have got 2 matches left. Ipswich have got 3, Bellevue have got 4, so...
It's probably going to stay.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be 37, 34, 32, 30. So it's close. You know, I mean, it's probably surprising a few people. And it surprised me a few weeks ago when we looked at the table and Ipswich was still top of the league because I would actually assume the run that Bellevue had been on that they'd managed to get there, but. I guess
they've kept going though, haven't they?
Yeah, I guess you take into account Bellevue started the season quite poorly, so I mean, I think you would. I mean, Sheffield, of course. You think back to the start of the season, we were raving about Sheffield, weren't we? But it just hasn't really
sort of fizzled out a bit.
Yeah, it has been. And they've had a few problems as well, obviously with the track up at Sheffield, which hopefully they can sort out.
Keep hearing that from different tracks all the time. I mean, Wolverhampton's had problems this year as well, haven't they?
It's certainly been very good the last couple of weeks. Though there's been 2 excellent meetings against Bellevue and Sheffield as well last week.
Okay, so Championship.
Well, the Championship, of course.
Top
Red
6,
Car.
isn't
I
it?
think Red Car obviously looked like they were on the way to getting their place tonight. So at the moment, you've got Leicester on 46, Glasgow 40, Poole 39, Edinburgh 32, Plymouth 29, and at the moment it's Scunthorpe are on 26 points with Red Car on 26. But of course, Red Car on the way to getting that point with Scunthorpe now having run all their matches, I think. So.
And the top 2 teams go straight to the semi-finals, don't they?
Leicester have completed all their matches. Glasgow have got 1 left, and that is against, let me just check, Plymouth. That's next week.
Okay.
Down at Plymouth, so... But, I mean, it's been a great season for Plymouth, to be fair. You know, I don't think anybody would have had them down as a playoff team at the start of the season. They may have been a little bit sort of taking advantage of the guest rule for Eddie Kennett, but yeah.
Well, we've had our say about that. I mean, I can't really say too much given that Birmingham's currently got 1 rider.
Leicester in the box seat, do you think, for that league, or?
I fancy Glasgow.
Well, I was honest to say I was really impressed with Glasgow when they came to. I would say they were the best team I've seen at Perry Bar this season.
So I do, but will Leicester's home track advantage to play
That's
its
going to be the
part?
big thing, isn't it, for them? So
Jeff Daniels, I beg your pardon, has pointed out that Kings Lynn can get a maximum of 34 points, and that includes a 4-point win needed at.
Yeah, they can
Sheffield.
do. Yeah, they've strengthened their team, Kings Lynn, to be fair, and they've obviously had a win at Peterborough, of course, and recently, of course. But
that would be a comeback.
It would be. I don't
Monumental proportions.
Don't really see it. Let's have a look at who they've got in their last few matches.
If you can get the BSPL site to
work,
play ball.
Just talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Can I just say, if anybody is listening or watching and doesn't normally put anything on the shout box, feel free to just say hello. Maybe just say hello.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Don't be shy. Say hello.
Some of you
don't bite.
So Kings Lynn have got Bellevue at home. They've got Peterborough at home. They've got Sheffield at home, and they've got Wolves at home, and they've got 1 away match left,
which is going to be
which is at
Sheffield.
Sheffield.
You can't see them getting maximum points from all of those, can
Not
you?
all of them, no.
To be fair, I mean, it would be monumental if they did.
Well, it would give them a hell of a lift as well if they can squeeze in, because you know we saw what Coventry did in 2010. They had a great run of form, just about snuck in the playoffs, and then went on and won the league and managed to upset Poole in the process.
Wolves riders are dialed in now to track, but worrying problem now is there's going to be a big gap before playoff semis at Monument Green. Bellevue will finish top, Ipswich second, Wolves third, Sheffield fourth.
Well, Bellevue have got one home match left. That's against Sheffield on September the 5th. They've got to go to Kings Lynn, they've got to go to Peterborough, and they've got to go to Sheffield.
It would not surprise me to see a couple of Wolves riders riding for Birmingham against Cradley.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I think... are you there, Lawrence? Probably isn't, because he'll be working at the track tonight. Chris Bowen says hello. Hi,
Hello,
Chris.
Chris Bowen. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern.
Yeah, we know. I know Chris well. Okay.
Do you owe him money?
Yeah, probably.
I'll get rid of him then.
Shall we have a look at tomorrow's meeting then?
Yep. Do we want to look at the NDL as well with the playoffs?
Oh, I've got to read this.
Yep.
Duncan Pemberton, don't get too deflated over the tyre crisis. Tread carefully over criticism and make no more pressure to the makers, or we might as well find another manufacturer.
Oh, please. Keep the puns coming, thank you.
No.
Please. Just to annoy Mike.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, MDL, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so at the moment you've got Berwick 29, Leicester 25, Bellevue Colts 24, Mildenhall 24, Oxford 23, Kent 17, Plymouth 4, Armadale 3. So obviously Plymouth and Armadale, you can pretty much rule out of it. So it is top four, first against fourth, second against third. So, I mean, Kent have still got 6 matches left, so on 17 points.
So that in with a good
so
chance.
it's Mildenhall, Oxford and Kent. I think Kent probably are outside because they're going to have to go some to, even with 6 matches left. But
Probably going to have to go some to get them in.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, so Mildenhall obviously got the 4th spot at the moment, just a point ahead of Oxford.
And they seem to be showing a lot of form at the moment, the Mildenhall.
They do, yeah. Well, we've got their matches left. They've still got to go to Berwick. They've still got to go to Plymouth. So they've got those 2 matches at home, and I think they've run all their away matches. Well, yes, they have. Oxford, they've got home matches against Kent, and that's it. So Oxford have to win that match really against Kent to sort of keep their chances alive. But Mildenhall, of course, with a couple of matches in hand. Kent have got Armadale at home. They've got to go at Bellevue at home, and they've got to go to Leicester and Oxford. So 2 tough away matches for them. So you would think it would probably stay as it is in that league.
Pat Moore says it was nice to see Wolves riders having photos with youngsters and signing autographs. Keep it up, Wolves. Those youngsters are Speedway's future.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of sportsmen seem to go into a bit of a bubble, don't they? Really, in a lot of other sports, it's important really for me that you've got to go on. Chance of riders interacting with supporters, in particular kids. I mean, that's something that they really enjoy.
So what's Chris messing about with that?
Don't worry, you just carry on.
He's putting his lights out at the moment. So.
Looking a bit orange, actually.
Oh yeah.
No comment.
You've been strapped to Ron Atkinson's sunbed again, have you?
Right, shall we have a look at... I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's under-21. I hope Tom Brennan... Where do I keep getting this Tim from?
Tim.
I really hope he can race.
Let's have a look at the lineup then. So you've got Vinnie Ford, Leon Flint, Carl Bickley, Jody Scott, Harry McGurk, Henry Atkins, Joe Thompson, Tom Brennan, subject to fitness of course, Drew Kemp, Nathan Ablett, Sam Hagon, Sam McGurk, Dan Thompson, Jason Edwards, Jordan Jenkins, and Connor Bailey, with the reserves Max Perry and Alex Goldsborough.
There's a few that sort of
jump out.
Yep. Flint,
Leon
Brennan,
Flint. Carl Bickley's done
Carl
that very
Bickley,
well.
Thompson,
Drew Kemp.
Drew Kemp.
I have to say, he's been getting quite a bit of criticism from the Wolves fans, but he did, he sort of came to the party a little bit in the second half of last night's meeting. Jason Edwards, of course, has had a terrific season. He's really made a lot of progress, so he could be a bit of a...
And he knows the track quite well.
Tom Brennan, obviously, subject to fitness, is the favourite. I mean, even if he rides, is he going to be 100% fit? Because it's, big ask after 48 hours after a big crash.
Yeah, it was a big crash by all accounts.
Yeah, it was.
Brian Buck says, I appreciate that Speedway bikes currently use a narrow rear tyre, but is that essential? I've followed Speedway for 69 years, but I still know little or nothing about the actual bike, so maybe someone better informed can answer this. Well, yeah, because if there's too much grip, they're not going to slide.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it
essentially
works. Makes sense. That's how I would see it anyway. Josh Pickering loved guesting for Wolves last night, said there is a very big team spirit and it's joy to be around this team, and management are a class act. I could see him being a Wolves rider next year.
Wouldn't surprise me. Really, really exciting rider to watch, and there's obviously a heavy Australian contingency at Wolves as well, so it
wouldn't surprise me to see him at Brum either. So that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd make a nice...
On the basis, of course, that Birmingham don't decide to move up, which I don't think will happen, but...
Are you joking?
Move up.
Move up. Get back in your box.
I think it's about as likely as Wolves moving down, if I'm being brutally honest.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen that'll be a show in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's one of those sports, really, where you don't know what's going to happen to either your team or the actual sport
until 3 weeks after the season starts.
Yeah.
Lunacy, absolute craziness.
So, yeah, we shall see. And we don't know what the averages are going to be set at. We don't know how many leagues there's going to be. We don't know how many teams are going to be in each league. I mean, the whole Peterborough situation does not look good.
Well, I mean, things like this, what happened there last night, don't exactly help their cause.
No.
But I have included them at the under-21 final in the predictions, so I'm sure people have been putting their predictions on for tomorrow's meeting.
Okay.
So
we'll look at that in a little while.
But I think it's a big coup. It's a big coup for Birmingham to get that meeting, isn't it? Because it's I mean, obviously, I think they had the was it the semi-final of the under-19s?
Something like that. Yeah.
It was supposed to be the final, of course, and it was. Because it was round up, it was then changed to the semi-final. Yeah. I remember that because I remember talking to David Mason about that, and I don't think he was particularly happy, although he sort of kept his counsel on the subject, really.
Yeah. Is there a big crowd expected? Or
I don't know what the expectation is. I mean, the other thing about it, of course, is it's on BSN.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Of course, there is no Birmingham rider in it. There's obviously riders with
Birmingham heritage, shall we say. Yeah, Leon Flint being the biggest.
Yeah. So I would imagine there'll be a fair few from the Black Country heading over to see Leon Rice, of course.
And Tom Brennan is sort of an honorary Brummery this year with the number of times he's guested for us. So I think
the Thompson twins, of course, they sort of grew up.
They were our mascots for a while. So yeah, it just depends on how many other teams come out to support our riders and I hope it's going to be a better than average crowd.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's what I'm hoping for. And we've seen some great riding at Birmingham this year, so I think they're going to be going for it tomorrow, aren't they? They're going to be gunning for it. We've got some more comments coming up. More to the point, how many riders will we have in the British Final and Championship Riders meeting? Everyone bar Adam Ellis was doubling, and Adam had previously been doubling with Birmingham earlier in the season. Yep. How much has Targate got to do with how much has Targate got to do with being the fault of British Speedway? I would like to know what could have been done to prevent such an event. I hear plenty saying it's a joke, etc. I hear what you're saying, but what I was looking at it from the point of view of newspaper editors looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying to bring some credibility into the sport.
There's a suggestion that Speedway's probably not recovered from the Sunday Mirror scandal in the early 80s, is it?
What
with
was that? Just elaborate on
the
that.
race fixing suggestions that were made. I think it was an undercover reporter who sort of
blew the lid on it. Yeah,
blew the lid on it, yeah.
I don't remember much about it because I wasn't sort of around during that period. But
well, you were alive, weren't you? 84.
well, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure about that.
It was the 80s.
Yeah, if you remember it, you wasn't there.
Yeah, there is actually the first 3 years of the 80s. I remember absolutely nothing.
Well, we don't want to know about that. To be fair,
apart from a couple of things.
Barry Young says, I think you have as much chance of Wolves as I have of winning the lottery. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's hope you win the lottery.
Yeah.
And good luck. I won't win because I don't play it. I guess we better have a look at the...
Yes. Are we going to go to should we go to the tables first?
Yeah.
And,
Keep your comments coming up. We're going to do our Simon Pearson prediction league. Oh, God.
He's done it again!
Nigel's probably up there, though, laughing his head off about that.
I'm sorry, Nigel.
Simon's probably up there. Laughing his head off.
Yeah. Must be got to do with me, so...
right, okay. Oh, dear. I'm gonna have to. I need a card with his name written down.
Yeah.
To me, so I don't do that
So
again.
way ahead, we still have, well, not way ahead, but we still have in front Simon Corbett.
He's only
followed
3
by-
points ahead, isn't he?
Yeah. That's not a lot, really.
No.
Ben Clifton following with 201. Then we go to Dave Twine on 198. Andrew Garner on 196. And then it's somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. And somebody in 9th place, me, 10th place, on 188. I'm out of it now.
Okay. You was out of it a long time ago.
Do we still think it's maybe a 2-horse race?
Dave Twine's
I think it's a 3-horse
Yeah.
race. Or
possibly 4.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Twine's good. I mean, he was the only one that got a green in the top 3 last week. Unfortunately, he was also the only one that got 3 reds. So
It's going to go to the wire, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be the most exciting thing about Speedway this season.
let's hope not. I think Dan Bewley winning 2
people won't.
GPs on the trot's pretty exciting.
People won't remember that, but they'll remember this.
Okay. So let's get through the thing quickly. If you want to join in, even at this late point, you've probably got a chance of overtaking me. Let's give it a go, shall we? And we'll get through it as quick as we can. So keep your... Duncan Pemberton says, I hope all those who have picked Brennan for under 21s are not allowed to choose anyone else.
No, obviously we have Jones, haven't we, so we can't... I suspect he will race. It's whether he's going to be fit. You know, he's not going to want to miss that meeting, because I would imagine that's probably a meeting that he's put a lot of emphasis on, along with the British final.
Okay, we'll come back to your comments after we've gone through this, so don't run away if you're not joining in.
Keep commenting,
And we'll get through this as quick as we can. So we start off with, and I believe it's me first this week, isn't
The
it?
British under-21 final.
Okay, under 21, I'm hoping he's going to be there. I'm going to say Tom Brennan, because that's who I would have picked. Up to you.
I'm going to go with Leon Flint.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Flint as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It certainly wouldn't surprise me. Okay, next up, we'll leave Midlow's testimonial. So tomorrow...
Can I just say, Rich Thompson, I am not reading that out.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
That's pretty good. See, we have got some clever people. I don't
It's
keep
not
that
quite
saying
9
that.
o'clock yet, though, unfortunately.
So
Kings Lynn against Peterborough is the next one.
Kings Lynn versus Peterborough. Okay, it's up to you.
Kings Lynn by 20.
Kings Lynn by 14.
Kings Lynn by 16.
Okay. Next up, Sheffield against Wolves.
That's up to you.
I'll go Sheffield by 10.
I'm
Go on,
going to
surprise
say
me.
Wolves by 2.
Pardon?
You heard me.
Oh, right, okay.
I've gone Wolves by 4.
What?
No.
Deserve one of those,
Okay.
haven't you?
Red car next, is it?
Yeah, in the semi-final.
Red car
The
versus.
second leg, I think, is the semi-final. So I can't remember what the first leg score was.
It's up to you, Mike.
Edinburgh by 4.
Red car by 10.
Red car by 8.
Okay.
Yeah, Edinburgh won the first leg by 4. So
Well, we shall see.
okay, and then you got the second leg of the quarter-final on the same night. Scunthorpe against Leicester.
That's up to you.
That's amazing, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Yep. Leicester by 4.
I'll go Leicester by 8.
I'm going to say a draw. I'll have to do at least one of them. I'm going to get one of these draws one of these days.
Okay, next up, moving on to Saturday in the NDL. Leicester against Kent.
That's up to you, Chris.
Is it? Okay. I'll go for a Leicester by 8.
Leicester by 12.
Leicester by 12. I've gone for. Okay, next up on Sunday, Kent against Armadale. It's a long old drive if you're from Armadale.
A draw. I'm going to say Kent by 20.
Kent by 16.
Shall I go in the middle? Yeah. Kent by 18.
Do you like it in the middle?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
To the bishop to the barmaid.
Okay, next up, Mildenhall against Berwick. First one
That's
of a
up
double
to
header.
you. Ah, God. Mildenhall.
Yeah,
I hope the track stands up to it.
they've had problems at Mildenhall this year, haven't they? So that's up to me, isn't it?
Yep.
Mildenhall by 4.
I'll go Mildenhall by 10.
Oh, I'm going to say Mildenhall by 8.
Okay, so that's swiftly followed by Mildenhall against Plymouth.
And that's up to you, Chris.
Why are they on the same day?
It's a double header.
Oh, right.
Get the meetings through, I think,
Oh,
basically. We're at that stage, aren't we, where they start running double headers to get the fixtures in.
That's okay. Well, I suppose I'll go Plymouth by 6. That one.
Ooh, that's a big call.
It is now, because I'm going to say Mildenhall by 16.
I've got even more extreme than that. I've gone Mildenhall by 24.
I'm just thinking they might be a bit knackered by the second one.
They might not have any right as
Maybe it
well.
doesn't work like that.
Okay, next one up is the War of the Roses on Monday, Bellevue against Sheffield.
And that's down to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Bellevue by 10. You thought I'd taken leave of my senses then.
Bellevue by 12, I've gone for.
I'll go Bellevue by 14.
Okay, next up, Peterborough against Ipswich.
Interesting. It's up to you, Matt.
Ipswich by 10.
I'll go Ipswich by 14.
I'm going to say Ipswich by 8.
Okay, and last, this will be on during next week's show, Plymouth against Glasgow.
That's up to me, isn't it?
Mm.
I'll go Glasgow by 12.
Glasgow by 8.
Yeah, I've gone Glasgow on that one by 10. Current score, by the way, at Plymouth is 36-48 in favour of Redcar. So Redcar are in the playoffs. They've won the meeting.
They've won the meeting,
Yep,
right?
So
they've gone, yeah.
Scunthorpe miss out on the top 6.
And that concludes this week's.
Right. Have we got any more comments that have come before? All of those, I do believe there was some stuff.
That was in reference to the
Yeah.
Thompson twins, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're
I
pretty
think there was
much-
more before.
No, I think we pretty much. I think we pretty much caught it.
Oh, that's on there.
Yeah, there you go. Duncan, I knew there was something. Who is happy with the Tatum and Louis partnership as main commentary team post Nigel Pearson? I think they are the best pairing going forward. Well, currently they're the only pairing.
Yeah.
They've done well, haven't they? I think. I heard Calvin Tatum on another podcast a few weeks ago, talking about. I mean, he's admitted himself, and he didn't surprise me. Once after Nigel died, he didn't really want to carry on, but he had a lot of support, particularly from Nigel's family. So he made the choice to carry on this year. I think he needed somebody alongside him who he knew to help him through it, and of course he's worked with Chris Louis before, not obviously on an international duty.
It's a
when
big
racing.
responsibility to take the top spot in the commentary, if you like, as opposed to the bit that's just coming in and saying, oh well, his bike's this or whatever it is, Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
And
he's done well.
Yeah, so I mean, Chris Louis obviously got experience from when he was doing a lot of stuff for Sky, doing the analysis for them, and I've always had a lot of respect for Chris Louis as a rider and as a promoter and as a pundit as well. So I think it's a good pairing, and it's
it seems to be working.
Yeah, it's a bit more down to earth, really, isn't it? In fairness, I think there was a lot of jockeying around really between
there was,
Tasman and Nigel Pearce. I think that was just the rapport that they had,
and maybe that will come out as they get a better rip and get to know each other a bit better. I mean, I think they were the best of friends, weren't they?
Yeah,
Pearson and Tatum, I think they were really...
which is quite ironic, of course, because I mean, Calvin Tatum's admitted that when he was racing, he couldn't stand Nigel Pearson.
Yeah.
So, how...
well, what do we say?
Simon Corbett has accused us of copying him. That is a downright slander.
Well, why would we copy?
Exactly.
If we copy, we're just going to get the same points as him, and not going to get any nearer to him. So you better hope people are copying you, Simon. Yeah, that's all I've got.
We'll do better than we normally do.
Yeah. Tom Brennan put on Twitter earlier today he was full of aches and pains. Doctor told him to take 2 weeks off, but he is going to see how he goes on today. That's a Speedway rider for you. Yeah,
they don't take much notice, the doctors, do they? So no. I think they'd have to sort of strap him down to stop him from racing. I suspect he will race tomorrow. It's whether he's going to be...
You think he'll give it a go?
Yeah, it's whether he's going to be 100% fit. I mean, to be fair, I think most riders will tell you that once you're on the bike and you're racing, you don't really feel any pain because the adrenaline's going. It's really when you really afterwards when you start to feel it.
I'll bet over the years there's been a lot of shocks where a rider has been so badly hurt, or we thought, and then rides again. You think, hey.
There's two cases that come into my head.
I can guess one of them.
Kenny Carter, riding with a broken foot,
broken leg,
and
winning the British final.
Winning the British final,
but did he know that he had a broken leg?
Oh yeah, he had a special boot made, and he was riding with the broken leg.
So he broke his leg before the meeting.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Ronnie Wall won the world championship with a broken leg.
The best one, and if you can get. Chris Morton's book, I think it's called When the Can Ran Out or something like that. I can't remember it exactly, so I may have the details slightly wrong, but the gist of it was that he was racing in a World Championship qualifying meeting, like they used to have in those days. And they needed to be top 6 to qualify for the next round. And he had quite a bash. He came off, had quite a bash, and he came round in the medical centre, or hut, as I think he called it, those days. And he was asked, are you okay? Was you unconscious? No. Have you got any pain? No. Didn't tell them that his neck had swollen up like this. Which doesn't work very well on radio, but you get the idea. And that he couldn't actually turn his head. Yeah. Anyway, he qualified. He rode and he qualified. About 3 or 4 years later, whatever it was, he's riding in the meeting, comes off and has to go to the hospital to have some precautionary x-rays, and the doctor comes back and says, yeah, you're fine. He says, oh, by the way, when did you break your neck? What do you mean, when did it? He says, well, you've obviously broken your neck previously because it's healed. And said, when did you? So he reckons that he was riding with a broken neck that night. So,
Bert Troutman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Malcolm Corradine, that was a name.
Yep.
Brummie supporters will know. Also raced in several matches with a broken ankle in plaster. I don't remember that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, we've got the other one, of course, is the famous one we played at Collins, isn't it, in the World Final in '77.
200 stitches and fracture of shin, defending his title 7 days after he did it.
They wouldn't let you do it now, would they? If you had a broken leg, there's no way in a million years they would let you race.
No, they wouldn't, because
health and safety would be...
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, Chris Morton wouldn't have raced
with a broken neck.
Well, even without the fact that he'd been unconscious for a little while, they would have said, right, concussion, you've hit your head, that's it, you're out for 7 days.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is these days. It is better. But
I seem to remember Neil Collins breaking his wrist while racing for Wolves, and he didn't pull out the meeting. He actually changed his clutch cable onto the other side of the handlebars and carried on racing.
Yeah, I've heard, that
I'm
rings
sure,
a bell.
How the hell does that happen?
Yeah, that does ring a bell, actually.
Yeah.
They were different in those days.
I can imagine that a lot of it is, I mean, they're hard, obviously, but I suppose a large proportion of it is going to be money.
Yeah, because they don't get paid.
They're
self-employed. I think that's right.
So it's performance related, isn't it?
Yeah,
Which would be a good idea for some of our football stars.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, but by one token, it means you get the best out of your riders. It's why I don't ever believe a rider turns up to not do well. So I don't do well, I don't get paid.
Well, that's it. So.
Yeah.
Brian Buck says going back further still because he can.
Yeah.
Jack Unstead was another rider who raced with a broken leg in plaster.
I think Harvey Funding raced in the World Final with a broken leg and still finished third.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, with plaster going on with a plastered leg, that's, you know, can you imagine showing that to any sports star these days?
No, well,
you know.
No, is the answer. I think possibly Formula One drivers would, if they could get away with it, would.
Yeah.
I
mean, I can remember reading some of Malenko's book, and there's a photograph of his X-ray after he broke his leg in Germany in '89. I mean, the famous story about that is that it happened in Germany, and Pete Adams and Sam's wife obviously travelled out to Germany to go and be with him afterwards. Yes, I'm just saying that. Yeah,
I will read that one out in a minute.
Yeah, just obviously, this was '89, so. There was a bit of a language barrier over there, and of course there weren't many people in Germany who spoke very good English, and in the end Pete managed to find a doctor who spoke, I think he said broken English, to try and ascertain what the leg injury was like. And
it was a broken English, it must have been a broken leg.
The doctor actually took Peter into his office, pulled a pencil out of his top pocket, banged it on the corner of his desk 12 times, held the pencil out, the pencil was in 12 pieces, and he said, "That's what the X-ray looks like."
Where...
They didn't tell him at the time, but privately the doctors didn't think Sam would walk again.
Right.
And 4 years later he came back and won the World Championship. So,
I love this by Ben Clifton, but first of all, Duncan Pemberton, you're a naughty boy. However, he says the worst is Bruce Pennell racing all his career with a big head. Duncan Pemberton said that.
Yeah.
I may or may not agree with it. Ben Clifton, with the end of the season fast approaching, we all tend to focus on negatives. What has been one positive thing from 2022 that has made you smile?
Well, for me it's easy. That's the emergence of Dan Bewley on the world stage. Because he, to me, looks like the next British world champion.
From my point of view, yes, but from my team's point of view,
knowing that the club are going to be running next year,
and also that the track has improved so much. It's not a finished deal by any stretch of the imagination, but we've seen some great racing.
It's come a long way from the trials of 12 months ago, hasn't it? So
it's seen some great racing this year.
We will do that on a future show, I think. Obviously,
yes. So everybody have a think about that one, and we will. That's a great way to enter. Oh, thank you, Rich Thomas.
Right, we love him.
Yeah.
Modesty forbids me from saying that. He said the Speedway Tavern. Oh,
the money's on the way.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess it's that time of the day.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
Thank you once again. I guess next week we'll be talking about the under-21. We will also be looking at the upcoming playoff situation, and Chris will be thinking about his holiday.
Yeah, certainly will.
You got another one on the way, have you?
Must have by now.
Okay, so thank you very much once again for all your support. Pat Moore says seeing 2 British riders on podium last
definitely.
week. Absolutely. You take care, everyone. See you soon.
Good night.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What's the news today? Have a drink, have your say.